On Sunday, May 27th, rather with a strong passion, I shared with you a vision I had. A vision of the number 2000. If you remember, no? Yeah. I shared how it took 4 full years for me to realize that me being in Montpelier was more of a calling instead of an appointment. Trinity isn't just one of the churches that I will be serving in my career, but I shared that we have a clear task that needs and that can happen here and now. And when I say we, I'm talking about you and I. Not just me, you and I. But I have to say, in reality, nothing much changed since May 27th. We do have plans, and we'll be following up with those plans as the summer unwinds. But the reason I'm sharing this today is that it's more on a reflective side. A reflection that one of the most challenging aspects of having a vision or a dream is to sustain it and continuing to have faith in it. There are too many competing interests in life that puts our dreams and visions to the back. Our balancing effort between family and work, our continuous struggle with our financial anxiety, and our constant attempt to comprehend, figuring out where to stand and not to feel lost in this time and age where it seems like there is so much anger and animosity in our nation. With all of these emotions and situations listed down to occupy our minds, it feels like all we do is barely survive one day at a time. So this vision thing definitely feels like swimming against the current and biking against uphill. And then there's today's reading. Today's reading is when David realized that he should build a better place for the Ark of God instead of a tent. And then God basically turns down this offer and tells David that there is no need to do that. In fact, God had David's son lined up to fulfill that task of building the temple. David's son Solomon was predicted to build the temple instead of David. Rather, here God promises. Even though this passage doesn't use the word covenant, but this was some kind of a new covenant with David that God will instead build a house for David's household. As a person who is so passionate about a vision of reaching out to 2,000 people in the central Vermont area, reaching out to those who need to hear that they are loved, and to those who need a helping hand, and those who need to be healed from spiritual scars. And to have the revelation that this needs to happen here and that it needs to happen now. Not out of my personal arrogance, but in a sense of urgency to do something about the decline of so many churches in our midst. My initial reaction to reading this passage was a discouragement. In a way, it sounded like God might have someone else for the job in the future. Perhaps it may not be me. It may not be us. What's bothering us? According to theologian Walter Brueggemann, David's idea to build God a better, more suitable house is, this is Walter's word, part royal aggrandizement. Aggrandizement. royal aggrandizement, and part genuine piety. This means that David wanted to build a better, fancier temple for God because of genuine piety, but also because he wanted to increase his power and reputation by settling God into something he built. And the second reason, I think God knew very well of his intention. Question, what's bothering me? What's bothering me? Then God answers through Nathan. By the way, by the introduction of Prophet Nathan, now we know that Israel's leadership system has fully transitioned from the time when they were led by the judges to a time where the role is divided into two, between political leader, king, and the religious leader, prophet. So before it was all judge, one person job, now it's a two-person. Here we see God speaking through Nathan to tell to King David, and one of the points that we want to pay attention today is this. God is constantly moving. God is constantly moving. Verse 6 through 9 goes like this. I have not dwelt in a house from the day I brought the Israelites up out of Egypt to this day. I have been moving from place to place with a tent as my dwelling. Wherever I have moved with all the Israelites, did I ever say to any of their rulers whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, why have you not given me a house of cedar? Now then, tell my servant David, this is what the Lord Almighty says. I took you from the pasture and from following the flock to be ruler over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone, and I have cut off all your enemies from before you. Now I'll make your name great, like the names of the greatest men of the earth. So that's verses from 6 through 9. What this means is that life with God is a journey, not a settling in somewhere. Building a community with God is a movement, not something that is defined in a set of buildings. Building a true sense of community is an ongoing journey of living, growing, and thriving. The piece that really spoke to me as I was reflecting this week upon this message was the articulation of the inner struggle that was in me. Perhaps it may not be me at the end. It may not be us at the end. There may be Solomon, King Solomon, who will fulfill our vision later. However, God is saying that it shouldn't bother us. Oh yeah, there's no doubt that we need to do our best, but we need to be able to screen how we are doing spiritually along the process. Like how we do our annual health screening. We need to be able to screen our spiritual health if we are in the red zone of self-aggrandizement, or if we're genuinely loving God and loving our neighbors. We need to screen our spiritual health. And this passage articulates that guidelines for us. And the answer from God to David, remember who is your shepherd. I am. Remember that I am your shepherd. It reminds us of the covenant prayer in Wesleyan tradition. Can you show us the slide? Next slide. And I would like to invite you to read this out for us to read this together. A covenant prayer in the Wesleyan tradition, and this is a contemporary version. So let us read this together. I am no longer my own, but yours. Put me to what you will. Place me with whom you will. Put me to doing put me to suffering. Let me be put to work for you or set aside for you. Praise for you or criticized for you. Let me be full, let me be empty. Let me have all things, let me have nothing. I freely and fully surrender all things to your glory and service. And now, O wonderful and holy God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, you are mine, and I am yours. So be it. And the covenant which I have made on earth, let it also be made in heaven. Amen. You are mine, and I am yours. So be it. Being a Christian is more a way of life than a system of beliefs. Being a Christian is following Jesus' way of self-giving and self-emptying love. A few nights ago, I was spending my time on YouTube like every other night. One thing led to another. And I was watching clips from America's Got Talent, like every other night. And I like watching those audition programs because there are so many inspiring stories. Anyhow, I got to watch an audition by a man named Michael Ketterer, a pediatric mental health nurse. And his story is like this. He and his wife is a parent to 6 children from foster care. 6 children from foster care. And he came to this national stage on TV to be an inspiration to them. And he said something about the nature of being in a foster care. And it really touched my heart. He said, when you are surviving, you can't dream. When you are in a survival mode, you cannot dream. Perhaps as this vision I had in May evolves, I may have been struggled to fully empty myself. Perhaps David's intention to build a better, fancier temple for the Ark of God was not at all pure love for God after all. Perhaps we may think we're living our lives, but we may be just surviving our lives. The good news is this, and this may be more for myself to hear than preaching to you. God is telling me that take some time and look back. Take some time and look back. Remember how far you've come. I've got your back. So go ahead and live your life, not just survive. Dream. Have a vision. And I pray that this will be the same free and redeeming message to each one of you this morning. Take some time and look back to appreciate what God has already done in your life. And pray, you are mine and I am yours. So be it. You are mine, I am yours. So be it. And then freely ride along this hope, the wave of hope in God's love, looking forward to the exciting dream and vision that God has already planted in you, no matter how unrealistic it may sound right now. 2,000